my channel. Yo, let me tell y'all something. Okay, this needs to be said and something needs to be done. Okay? Now, if, okay, you be nice to people. You know what I'm saying? You be nice. You'll try to be warm. You'll try to help them any way you can. Okay? But you know what? You sit back and you be like, okay, I think I did good, helping that person because that person needed to be helped. And it's like nobody else, is helping that person. So that means you being nice to them. You know what I'm saying? You helping them, from your heart. Because when somebody do something, from their heart, that means this is what they want to do. It's no pretend. It's no pretend. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? It's like this is what I wanted to do, and you don't care if nobody else don't like it. Yeah, they gonna have some people saying, "Don't waste your time on that person," because that person is just mean. Okay, you gonna say, okay, I'm still gonna help that person. You understand? Because that person is in need. You never know what that person is going through. You know what I'm saying? So you don't just don't help somebody because what the other person said, that person done them. You know. So what you do, you go to that person, okay? And you talk to that person, you know, and you ask that person, do you need help? I can help you. You know what I'm saying? Much as I can. Hey, uh, oh, okay, you from Los Angeles. Well, all right. Um, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm gonna help this person no matter what. And you know what you do? You go out your way to help this person. You ask that person what they need, and if you can do it, you would do it from the bottom of your heart, and that's what you would do, okay? Like, you know what? Everybody was right. That person was so nasty, and I was like, I'm trying to help you. I don't have a lot, but I'm still trying to help you. And you being nasty to me, thank you for the hearts. You know, because y'all, let me tell you something. I was in the same position when I needed somebody to help me. Hey, and you know what? Nobody wanted to help me. I had to help myself. You understand what I'm saying? But I tell you this. I ain't gonna lie to you. Yes, I still will continue helping people. Not because just that person just was nasty to me. You know, people are so you right. You is absolutely right. But at that time, you know, I know that person needed help. And sometimes I be thinking, some people be mean and hateful because they be embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, if you is embarrassed, don't take it out on me. You know what I'm saying? But I still help that person, and then a person turned on me, and the only thing I say is, God bless you. I did it from my heart. God gonna bless me. Do you understand what I'm saying? God gonna bless me because I bless somebody else. And then the trip part about it, I really didn't have it. But I seen somebody was in need, you know, and I know what I did. It helped that person. It helped that person. What I did helped that person, and it hurted me because that person turned on me, and I'm like, why would you turn on somebody and somebody is trying to help you, y'all? And you're right, you know, and you is absolutely right, you know. And you know what? And you right, and you right. But it's still in me to help people because when I needed help, you know, people turned their back on me. You know what I'm saying? Yes, people really turned their back on me. You understand what I'm saying? Baby, you didn't have to delete your answer. You was absolutely right. You was right. But yeah. But let me ask you. No, let me tell you. No, let me ask you. Would I help somebody else who is in need? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Everybody's different. Everybody's different. Some people will be grateful, and some people will be ungrateful. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I'm trying to help you, and you don't want me to help you, so I mean, hey, I tried. I tried. And hey, and the thing is, and the thing is, and the thing is, when they have children, involved, it's like it touched my heart. It moved me. Oh, you live in New York. Okay, welcome, welcome, welcome to my channel. That's right, please subscribe and hit that bell for me. And double tap that screen, everyone. And if you did, I would like to say thank you and I appreciate it and welcome to my channel. Welcome to my channel. You know, thank you and don't forget to hit that bell. Um yeah. Um Let me tell you something. I don't care. I don't care what you think about me. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you think about me. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who don't think I'm a good person or they don't like me. So be it. You know what I'm saying? So be it. It's like, I'm not doing it for you. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for her. I'm doing it for him. But when they got children involved, that moves me. You know what I'm saying? I don't think twice. I go head forward. You know? And yes, I do know some people use children to try to get what they want. You know? But it's like when I see a person with children and they, is just sitting there with a sign and I'm looking, I don't, now I look at the mom or the daddy, yes I do. But when I look inside these children's eyes, it's like they looking at you saying, please help. We hungry. Look in their eyes. You know, eyes tells it all. You look in these children's eyes and they be like, and I just be, oh, I be just so touched, you know. So one time I was walking to a coffee shop and I was making it. And this man was wow. Are you serious? Oh my gosh. That was wrong. That was wrong. He better be glad you is a child of God, because if you wasn't, you could have hurt that man real bad. You know. But, yeah. You know, you could look in these children's eyes. You know, it's like, I don't care what their mama tell them to do. I don't care what their mama tell them to say. But when these children is hungry, you can see in their eyes like, please help us. Please help us. You know, and where I stay, they normally be by Walmart. And I saw the little family, the mother and her 3 children. And as I was, going to, y'all know I ride my little buggy. But as I was, riding in Walmart, I glanced, I didn't want to stop, but I just was going slow, you know. And the children looked in my eyes and was like, please help. I'm hungry. Please help. So you know what I did? I didn't have much, okay? Because we got McDonald's in our Walmart. And so what I did, I had got the without the 3 meats, the 3 meat, the triple meat. Okay, I had got 3 triple meats and 3 small fries and a drink and 2 cookies for each of them. Y'all, when I gave it to the mama, and the mama, opened it up, those children took that sandwich and it was like they took that sandwich and they was eating that sandwich so fast, like they just was shoving it in their mouth. And I look at the mom, and the mama said, thank you. I gave her $20. And I said, you could go and get bread, jelly, and peanut butter. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, if they don't have a house and they just homeless, peanut butter and jelly is not gonna go bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna give them something that needs to be in a refrigerator and they, homeless. They don't got nowhere to stay. You know, and I told her, I said, go and get them like 2 loaves of bread and get them a bottle of peanut butter and jelly. And she said, okay. She said, thank you. I said, you more than welcome. I said, get you something too. She said, oh, thank you, thank you. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, just think if it was you and you want somebody to help you, you know. So my son was playing outside. He said, yes, what? Wow. That's a blessing. That's a blessing. That's a blessing. Because y'all, let me tell y'all, I'm a diabetic. And I drink a lot of water. Okay? It's like every time I go to Walmart, I get 2, 3 cases of the 40 waters. And I drink, all my children drink it, and I drink it. And one day, my daughter, she said, Mama, my friend thirsty. Can I give him a bottle of water in a flavor? You know, y'all, I get this flavor. It comes 30, sticks in it. You know, it's like this. I know y'all seen this before. It's like this. Okay? And then come in the box. So, I don't like drinking plain water, so I drink that. So I told her, I said, go and get him a water. I said, yeah, give him a flavor. She said, for real? You giving him your flavor? I said, yeah. I was I was about to do my strength. And something just said, I didn't want to look over, but I was sitting by, I always sit by the little boys. And I was looking at my daughter approach her friend and gave it to him. That boy shook that up. He drunk that. I mean, he drunk it. It was almost gone. He didn't drink it all. But I'm going to say he had like this much left. Okay, from a bottle like that, he drunk like that much. And I was like, I'm glad I gave that little boy some water. You know, it's good to help people. Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm glad you helping. You know, but so many people you can help. And there's so many people you help, and they be nasty to you. You know what I'm saying? You be looking like I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you. Why is you being nasty to me? And it be like, okay, for instance, I forgot where we was. I think at old, the old apartment or the house. Okay, but either one. Okay. And they had a lady, it was in the morning, when the children, you got to wait at the bus stop, with your children, as they catch the bus. Okay. And like I say, I'm a diabetic and I always, drink water. And no, I don't have it. Oh, shit. And I always get, the little crackers, you know, the peanut butter. I use well, actually, I get the peanut butter one because peanut butter is good for me. And the lady just was, she always stand there, and when she walks, she don't have no shoes on, and it's like the clothes. Just say Monday she got a yellow shirt and blue shorts. Tuesday she will have the same yellow shirt and she just probably change her shorts. And then it's like yellow shirt and a blue shorts. It's like she only have two, pairs of clothes. Cause she just switch out, the shorts, and she stays with the shirt. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, if it wasn't for uniforms, that child, those children would have to wear the same clothes. Or they would, vice versa, change, one to the other. Okay. So what I did, okay, once I know school was about to, be out, and before the bus come, you know, and I went out there, because the clothes, couldn't fit me. I know it could fit her. And I put some, in a bag, in the little white 13-gallon bag, okay? And I filled that up, because uh, I was losing weight. hmm I mean, I was gaining weight. I was gaining weight. And I'm like, okay, I got to get these clothes out because I got to get more clothes because I can't fit these clothes. So what I did, I put it in a bag and I went to the bus stop a little early before everybody comes. Because she be like the first or the second person there. So I gave her the bag, okay? I said, how you doing? And she said, well, I'm fine. She was a Mexican. Okay, she was a Mexican lady. You know, she was short. Okay, and I gave her the bag. I said, I approached her. I said, how you doing? I told her my name. And I said, I have some extra clothes. You know, I can't fit. I said, I washed it, so it's clean. And I say, I put some clothes in also for you children that my children can wear. And if it's big for them, you can save it until they can, fit it. That lady grabbed that bag, and then she looked, and she said, y'all people think y'all better than us. And I looked at her, you know, I had, I wear prescribed glasses, but I gotta get some. I looked at her, and I took my glasses off. I said, excuse me. She said, some of y'all black people think y'all better than us. And you know what I told her? I said, you's a Mexican, and I'm black. I said, you know what? You got it bad and we got it bad. Semi. Because some people don't like Mexican and a whole lot of people don't like black people. You know what I'm saying? I say, but I'm giving you this because I want to, not because I have to. You know what I'm saying? I said, I came here early to give it to you because I didn't want everybody to see I gave it to you. I said, just you holding this bag. They don't know where that bag come from. It's not like I'm going to stand there and see everybody. I'm just giving her a bag of clothes. You know what I'm saying? And I told her, I said, you don't know me and I don't know you. So why are you acting nasty with me? And she said, you know, many people don't like her. So she don't know who like her and who don't. I say, I don't know you and you don't know me. I'm being nice to you. So now you got clothes you can change. You don't have to wear the same clothes over and over. You know what I'm saying? And she looked. She said, I'm sorry, but thank you. You know, she was looking in the bag and, you know, she pulled one. She said, this my size. I say, good. I say, it's clean. All of them clean. And she said, okay, thank you. And I said, guess what? She said, what? I say, nobody needs to know where you got it from, okay? And she said, well, okay. You know, so she got the bag. And she pushed away from me a little, okay? And the school bus came, okay? All the children got off the school bus, okay? And the bus left. And she was about to pick the bag up. And she turned and she looked at me. Yo, she did this. I said, She just gave me a big old smile, you know. And as I was walking home, y'all, I'm a baby. I am a baby. I'm so emotional, okay? Now, as I'm walking home and I'm looking at her, I'm going this way and she going, you know, the opposite way. Not the opposite, you know, crossways. Um, and I'm looking at her, you know, she holding that bag, just a smiling. And as I'm looking at her holding that bag, and she drifting this way, and I'm drifting this way, and the tears is just coming out. You know, it was like, it just was coming out. I couldn't stop it. And my daughter and my son said, Mom, why is you crying? I said, these happy tears. And my daughter said, oh, okay. And and my son said, can I have happy tears too? You know, and I didn't want to tell him why. I mean, not why. Who? You know, I help. And I just look at him. I said, these happy tears. He said, Mama, I want happy tears too. I said, one day when you know, help somebody, you're going to get those same tears. And he said, okay. He said, how old I'm going to be? I said, you could be your age now. And he said, but I'm a kid. I said, well, what that mean? You still can, you know, help somebody. Oh, well, good. I'm glad I did help you. I am glad I did. Good night. Okay. You know, but you can help somebody, you know, and like I did. instead of, you know, going to the bus stop and they have all the parents out, you know, waiting for the children, and I go there and I give her the bag of clothes. Okay, everybody gonna be looking like, oh, she giving her clothes, cause you know it's a white bag, and it was full of clothes, and you could see it's clothes, you know. So like I say, she always be like the first or the second person to be out there. So when I went, you know, and like I said, she was the second person, you know. But one lady, you know, she comes early too, and she always, you know, sit in her own car. You know what I'm saying? So when I gave it to her, you know, she just grabbed it, and I'm looking at her like in the back of my head, you just grabbed this out of my hand. You don't see thank you or anything. So I told her, why are you being nasty to me? And I'm trying to help you, you know. But the thing is, you never know what people goes through, you know. Because when I told her, you know, when she grabbed it out my hand, yes, I was a little mad. Because I'm looking at her like, you know, and it's just like, why you being so nasty to me and I'm trying to help you? And she just looked and she said, um, everybody be mean to her. She don't know who is gonna be nice to her. And I look at her, I say, I don't know you. You don't know me. I say, I'm giving these clothes because I know you need it and your children need it. You know what I'm saying? I'm helping you. You know, I'm not mean to you. You know what I'm saying? Once we leave, you know, and like I told her, you know, because I was talking to her, when school is completely out, I don't have to see you never again. But I just know I helped somebody, you know, and it needs to be helped. You know what I'm saying? And as we was, you know, talking or whatever, and she just stood there, it's like she turned and she was about to walk. And she looked at me. She said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I said, it's no problem. And she said, thank you. And, you know, she said, uh, you know, she felt it ashamed. You know, I'm giving her clothes. And she couldn't buy clothes on her own. And you know what I told her? I said, let me tell you something. When somebody trying to help you, don't you be ashamed. Oh man, I put the cookies in my drink. You know, I told her, I said, don't be ashamed. I say, I'm helping you because I want to help you. You know what I'm saying? I told her, I said, I was in your own shoes one day. You know what I'm saying? I was in her shoes, so if she homeless and she don't have nowhere to go, you know what I'm saying? Um, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yo, let me tell you, when I was back in New Orleans, and my daughter had this friend used to come over every day, and they called me Miss D. Every day she come by me, and she say, "Hey, Miss D." I say, "Hey, baby," and she said, "Miss D, can I have a sandwich?" And I'm like, oh, "Okay." And then I noticed, you know, when I'm sick, cause I used to be the candy lady. Okay? Um, the candy lady, when you come by me and and I have different kind of candy, chips, you know, cookies, whatever, you know. It's like you don't have to go to the store. You can come to me. It's cheaper, okay? But anyway, she'll say, Miss D, can I have a sandwich? And I'm like, yeah. Hold on. And I make her a sandwich, you know, and I give it to her. And then it's like every day, you know. And then she'll say, Miss D, it smells good. Because when I open the door, you know, the smell. Uh, I don't know, just out, however. When I open the door, the little girl say, it smells good in your house, Miss D. Can I have a plate of food? And I say, okay. And I told my daughter, I said, here, y'all come sit down, you know, at the table, and I, you know, fed her. And this little girl said, can I have some more? Miss D, this is good. Then I fed her again. And she asked for something to drink, I gave her. And when this little girl, you know, she said, thank you, Miss D. And her and my daughter just was talking, you know, at the table. And the little girl, before, you know, she was about to leave, she said, Miss D. I said, yes, baby. She said, can you make a plate for my mama and my little brother? Because they gonna be hungry too. And I said, where's your mama? And she said, you know, around the corner by the bus stop. So, you know, knowing me, you know, she showed me. And, y'all, her mama had a basket. You know, a bag with clothes. You know, and it was like, you could tell she just, when she find clothes, she just get it and put it in a bag, you know, and, you know, when they go somewhere or whatever, they just change the clothes. They don't have nowhere to wash it or not. So as I was, you know, approaching and I was talking to the mama, and I asked her, hey, hey, Giara, girl, what happened? What happened, Echo? But I was talking to the mama, and I asked the mom, I said, are you hungry? She said, yes. I said, would you come to my house? And she said, yeah. Y'all, you know, me and the mama was walking, and, you know, I said, you can leave your basket there. She said, no. She said, I left my basket one time, and somebody stole everything. And I said, okay, well, you know, go and take it. And she put the basket, you know, in front of the door. And I fed her and her son, you know. I fed her and her son. And you know, they ate. Y'all, they had a smell. When I tell you, once they came in, you know, they was eating, and it was like, the smell was all over the kitchen. And I have a weak stomach. So it was like, as they was eating, you know, I went in the living room, you know, but, you know, it was, you know, it was hot outside. So I raised the windows up, you know, put the blinds. You know, put the blinds out, you know, so, and I cracked the door so the air to be pushing out. So as they was finished, you know, I gave them, you know, a cold drink each. And you know, and mama just was saying thank you, you know, she gave me a hug. And she said, well, do you mind, you know, me and my children come by your house and eat every now and then? You know what? I looked at her. I said, no. And she looked, she said, okay. I say no for a reason. And she said, oh. She said, what? I said, you can come eat by my house every day. Mm-hmm. 'Cause when she come, you know, you, yeah, when she come, and I know, when she coming, I can hit a basket, and I can, I had paper plates. I bought paper plates just for them in aluminum foil. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? And I will put, you know, some food on the plate. Food on the plate. For all three of them. The mama, the brother, and my little girl's friend. And I would put a lot of food on the plate, and I will cover it up in a little, plastic bags. I will put three forks and three spoons. And when I gave it to her, because I put it in a Walmart bag. I tied, went outside and I gave it to her. She said, "Oh, thank you." She said, we made a mess in your house. I said, "No." I said, "Let me tell you something." I said, "I want you to be comfortable." You understand what I'm saying? So you could, I'm giving you a lot of food. So you could eat some now and you could, have some for later. And she said, "Oh, thank you, miss, thank you." I said, "You welcome." You know what I'm saying? I gave her, three cold drinks and three, that little juices, because I was the candle leader. And I gave her that. I put that in the bag and I told that little girl, I said, "Here, hold this for your mama." You know, and she held it, juice and a cold drink. She held it. And they left. So I was like, when I just was standing there, yo, I mean, it was like they were trying to hurry up and get to their little spot. Oh, thank you for the hearts. They were trying to hurry up and get to their little spots, but it's not what you do it, it's how you do it. I'm not worried. Let's see here. June 17th. I used to be very nice to people and strangers. Sadly, I'm not every time I don't trust. Oh, what's that? Oh, are you serious? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. That's something else. Oh, that will push me back too. You know what I'm saying? Because they could have really stabbed you and killed you. But, yo, it's no problem helping people because some people is grateful. And they have a lot of people is nasty to people. You know? And I think they nasty to people because they be shameful. you know. But let me tell you, they be nasty to you, but whatever you trying to give them, oh, they gonna take. They ain't gonna leave it. They gonna take it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh, you wanna be nasty to me, but you wanna be, but you wanna take my, whatever I'm giving you. You know what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of times I be like, I'm not worried. You know, God know my heart. Yeah. Yes, I do. Hold on, y'all. Ooh, I got to go. I got to go. y'all, I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, let me see what y'all say. I'm okay. No, yes, I did. I went to the bathroom. No, I got my little powder donuts. You know, you shaking your head. What you shaking your head for? But okay. Um, but yeah, you know, don't stop helping people. Oh, what I was talking about earlier, you know, I was talking about how I was helping this person and they was very nasty to me. You know, they was very nasty to me. But, you know, I told them what I had to tell them. You know, I gave them what I gave them. You know, 'cause God know my heart. And, you know, and I just walked away. You know. And then this lady, you know, at the bus stop, I noticed, you know, she really wear the same shirt every day, and she have two shorts. No, a pants and a short. And she switch, you know. Oh, yeah. Okay. But let me tell you something. Um, okay. Oh, it seemed interesting. Yeah. But, don't stop helping people. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? How about if when I try to, you know, well, when I try to help that certain person, and she was nasty to me, just just say, I say, okay, just because that other person was nasty to me, I say I'm not helping nobody else. And the lady who I helped, you know, at the bus stop, she wouldn't got the clothes that I gave her. You know what I'm saying? But I gave it to her because I know she needed it, you know, and I couldn't fit it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna throw something away that I know somebody needs. You know? That just wouldn't be right. You know? Um, yo, I do have a heart. But the good thing is, you know, I gave her the clothes, and guess what? She be wearing it. She wears it, you know. Well, I don't stay with her anymore. But, you know, when I go to the bus stop, you know, she wears it. And she look not, and you know, I stand at the bus stop. She always say, "Hey, how you doing?" You know, I'm like, "Okay, I'm okay." hmm And it's like you don't have to come by me, and um, just because I gave you clothes. I wish. I no, I'm not gonna tell you. No, I take that back. I don't want to be rich. I don't want to be rich. I just want to be wealthy, you know. And wealthy mean, you know, just take care of me and my kids and my grandbaby, you know, and we could be just fine and, you know, settled. Mm. Was Y'all is kicks. Y'all is kicks, but no, I'm not rich. No, I'm not rich. hmm but it's good to help people, you know, because you never know what people is going through. You never know what people is, going through. And I don't know what that, tell it, y'all, what's on my face. I don't know what that lady, was going through. You know, it's not my business what she was going through. Exactly. But if I could help in a way, I would. Because now, let me tell you something, y'all. See, when I was homeless, you know, and my old landlord, you know, she helped me out. She always used to help me out. But when I got homeless, I know y'all saying, well, I thought that was your landlord. Okay. I moved out my house and I was about to move, where I'm at. And um so, I got out the house and I went by a friend of mine who I really thought was my friend. You know what I'm saying? Because I was going to just be there for like 2 or 3 weeks. And, actually, once I found a house, I was about to go. So, I left the intern over there. I think it was it was the summer. And I left, came out here, trying to find a house, you know, that was my boyfriend at the time. And it was like she was so jealous of me, you know, making a move, you know, and bettering myself and my children, you know, it went sour. She called and she was like, I need to come and get my own kid. No, she told my daughter. And she called, my daughter called and said, that person said I need to come and get my own kid, my kids, because I'm up where I'm at, just under my boyfriend, and I'm not trying to look for a house. She didn't know what I'm doing. But actually, I really was trying to look for a house. So what I did, my boyfriend said, even though I was gonna do it, go down, back to New Orleans, get my kids and my stuff, and come back, where I was at. Okay. And I did. No. Once I got out of her house while I was in New Orleans, you know, and, you know, I went in another house, and my old neighbor, told me I could come over and sleep by her house, and yeah, we slept over there. And the next day, we moved out here. I didn't have a house at the time, but we was in a hotel, you know, and that's what we did. And we stood in a hotel until we found a house, you know, and I was like content, you know what I'm saying? So after, she done me that in I ain't gonna even much get into it, y'all. But when people get jealous of you, they tries to hurt you. They really tries to hurt you. Hey, how you doing? No, I'm not retired. I'm not retired. Um, but yeah, people try that. Amen. People really tries to hurt you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I'm not just being in her house, being in her bed, and there we talk, we laugh, we get up and go here and go there. So it's like, okay, you're gonna be by yourself with your other friend. And it's like she mad. And it was like it said, it's not gonna work. I'm going out there for nothing. I'll be back. And guess what? you know, it was okay. I am mm-hmm. And they were. Mm-hmm. And you're right about that. You and you absolutely right about that. You know, because when when you actually, you know, see what's really going on, and you actually really see what kind of person that really is, and they, oh, y'all, the whole little circle with, you know, it was sour. You know what I'm saying? It really was sour. People could really pretend. Okay, me too. Me too. Because when that happened, I was like, wow. You know, y'all, it got more, excuse me, it got more to it. But I just don't want, put details. Here he comes. Mm, I don't want to put all the details. hmm But let me tell you something. I was protected. hmm Yo, I was protected. I was, you know, I was protected. I'm always protected. Why? Because I am a child of God. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You got to. Okay, I got it. Okay, I was there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's how I be. That's how I be. But let me tell you. You know why they like that? Because uh you about to get a big blessing. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something. See, people is not gonna bother you when you at a standstill. You understand what I'm saying? Always know that when you at a standstill at your life, and it's not you is on top of somebody, and it's like y'all at a borderline together, and it's like when God, start blessing you, and you start moving up, and you're not in that same, position where you was, and that person is looking up to you now. And it's like, oh, you ain't gonna be up. And you know what? And they pray and pray and pray for your downfall. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened. Mm-hmm. That's what happened. You know, they pray. She, well, I'm gonna say them. You know, they pray for my downfall. Mm. And I was happy. You know what I'm saying? But I look at it like this. Okay. They, mm-hmm. They sure do. But guess what? God say different. You know, God start answering my prayers. You know, and it's like I'm not where I used to be. You know, I'm no longer, you know, with my whatever, but I'm not where I used to be. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-mm. I'm better. You know, and when I was with my ex-husband, you know what I'm saying? I moved up. Because some people can hold you back. You don't know that. You know, you don't know that. It's like when that person help you, you know what I'm saying? And it's like God say, okay, I'm done with you. You did what I wanted you to do to that person. You no longer need it. And you know what? And God starts to bless you. When He take that certain person out of your life, that's when you're gonna start getting blessed. Cause y'all don't know the people y'all have in your life, you know, can hinder your blessings. You know, because I mean I prayed many times, many times, many times. And it was like nothing happened. You know, and I'm like, normally, you know, when I pray and I have faith and I believe and I have patience, it take a little bit, but God answer my own prayers. So this time, I was like, God ain't answer my prayers. I'm like, what's going on? You know, I'm talking to God, and I'm like, what's going on? And God just was like, it's not the time. But I didn't understand that. You know, I didn't understand it's not the time. You know, and I'm like, it's not the time for what? He didn't answer me. You know, he just said it wasn't that time. Okay, once I you know, God removed him out of my life, y'all. I'm gonna say 3 or 4 months. That's when God started blessing me. Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. God started blessing me. So, let me tell you, it don't matter if the person is being nasty to you, who you is trying to help. Still bless them. You know what I'm saying? Still bless them. You know, just give them whatever you want to give them. Don't shortcut it. Give it to them. You know, um, because like my grandmother used to say, oh, like my grandmother used to say, you don't know if Jesus come to you, you know, and test you, would you feed me? And if you don't know I'm Jesus, you know. Jesus knock at your door, you know, and you deny him, you know, uh, he gonna let you know you denied me, and then you be like, I didn't know that was you. I didn't know. I didn't know. Pick that toilet seat up too. I didn't know that was you, Jesus. You know, that's why you need to help people because you never know if that's Jesus testing you. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, oh, oh, and if so, do you still talk with? Oh no, I don't talk with them. No, I don't. Mm-mm. I delete them all from all my social media. You know, my number change. You know, you can't get in contact with me. Nah, my you know, some of my family is, you know, still, you know, I don't know. I don't know, and to be honest, I don't care. You know, okay, you could turn it on. I don't care. You know, but don't stop helping people. You know, don't stop helping people because, you know, somebody, you know, being nasty to you because that person being nasty to you, but you don't know if the other person who needs your help is not being nasty to you. You understand what I'm saying, y'all? What I'm trying to say is help everybody. You know what I'm saying? Don't take your blessing and lose it because you wants to be nasty because they was nasty to you. You don't know if God even testing you. Well, you know what? Because the God tests us all kinds of ways. You know, y'all, let me tell you something. I mean, everybody was saying, you crazy. You know, to make a long story short, one of my friends, one of my daughter friends, mama, you know, God bless the truth. God bless you. Okay, one of my daughter friends came to me, you know, her and my daughter discussed it. And her and my daughter came to me and, you know, asked me can her and her mama and brothers and sisters, you know, come to my house, you know, for a little bit. And I'm like, what, baby, where's your mama? You know, I'm like, you coming asking me to stay. You and your family come stay in my house. I don't, where's your mama? You know, because the little girl always come and play with my daughter. You know, and I'm like, okay, where's your mama? So the mama came, and me and the mom, you know, I invite the mama in the house, and me and her talk. You know, and she told me, her daughter said, my little girl said, my mama nice. My mama let y'all come stay in her house. So I talked to the mama, okay, and the mama was like, she need to stay in my house like 2 or 3 months. You know, she said, I'll help you with the bills. I'll help you, you know, pay for the, you know, to put groceries in the house. And she said, my children is not gonna tell your house, you know, and, you know, she said, oh, you know, we can make a pattern, you know, on the floor, and they wouldn't, you know, bother me, you know, and I'm like, mm. I'm like, you know, talking to her. you know, yeah. And I'm like, okay. And I told her. I looked at her. I said, the only thing I don't want, you know, y'all destroy my house. Because if you, destroy my house and you up and leave, I'm going to have to fix this house. And she promised me, she said, I will not destroy your house and my kids wouldn't destroy your house. She said, now, they're a little noisy, but when we come, and I'm going to tell them they're going to have to cease. Because if you put us out, we don't have nowhere to go. And I let her stay in my house. Matter of fact, it was like 4 months, And it was like at the beginning, y'all, um, yeah, at the beginning, y'all, it was fun because, I had somebody in the house older and I could talk to. And, my daughter got her friend, my son was playing with, you know, her boys, in the house when it's time to, you know, go in the house. Okay, y'all, it's getting late. Come on, come inside. Let your friends go. And, and they come to the house and they, play and they sit down, eat, look at TV or whatever. It was going good, okay? Uh, it was like the third month. Things started getting a little shaky. And what I mean, things starting to get a little shaky, it's like, she not doing like she used to. Y'all sit down, don't do this and don't do that. It's like they running around and you just sitting on the phone. And then I'm looking, I'm like, come in my room and be like, can you tell your children stop running, around? I gotta go to sleep, I got to work, or, you know what I'm saying? And, it is what it is, and I told her, okay, you can stay, you know, but, oh, I didn't know that lady, I just wanted to help her, but, me and her talk, and I told her when I leave to go to work, they gonna have to leave to go somewhere, because it's like, I don't know you. I leave to go to work, she could get a U-Haul and take everything out of my house. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I told her, yeah, she could come stay. I'm there, you know. But when I go to work, yes, you're going to have to get out my house. And when I come, bam, she could come because, I got her number and I'll be like, okay, I'm about to be home. I'll call her like if I'm about to be home like 10 or 5 minutes, um, and then I'll come, pull up, in my car, and her and her children be, outside waiting for me to, to come, and I open the, I do, even though my second to the oldest and my third to the oldest, was inside, but I was not inside. Because if anything happened, I wants to be there. I don't want to hear, oh no, my children didn't do that. Your children, I ain't for all that. You ain't breaking my stuff and them saying your children didn't do it and that and that. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So, to make a long story short, she just started acting a little weird. And I'm like, okay, something not right. So I said, okay, you got your half of the rent. And she said, no, I don't have it right now, but, oh, I'm gonna get it. And I'm like, oh, okay, because I asked her, okay, you know, the first, you got to pay your rent. Now I might ask her, like on the 24th, you know, to start getting her, you know, her rent money or whatever, you know, to help pay for the rent. And she normally, you know, when she first came, you know, she'll give me what we discussed, you know, yeah, what we discussed, you know, because she wasn't working. So it's not like I'm gonna say, okay, give me half, and she can't afford it. You know what I'm saying? She was on food stamps. I was on food stamps, you know, and it is what it is. But the fourth month, you know, I was in the bed, you know, I took a nap, and I got up. They was gone. And I'm like, you know, I asked my daughter, I said, well, where your friends? And she said, oh, she said, Miss So-and-so said, you know, she got to go because she couldn't afford the pay the rent. And I'm like, okay, the rent is fine. Y'all was here. You know, you need to help me, you know, at least pay for the light bill. And you know, I called her and she told me, she said, well, I'm gonna give it to you. You know, she said, I ain't gonna she said, no, I'm not gonna do that. You know, she said, but I know when you woke up, we was gone, you know, but uh, that was my ride, and I didn't want to wake you up, so I told, you know, your daughter. Okay. It was like the fifth, you know, of the month. She came, and she brought me, you know, the money. I said, for the light bill. Okay, it wasn't out, but it was close. So, and I told her, I said, okay. And she said, well, you know, I'm sorry I don't have it on. She said, but what I can do, whatever I owe, I could give you some food stamps and a little more because it's not cash, it was food stamps. And you know, she said she don't know if I ever would need to come back. She don't want no bad blood. So, you know, I made my little groceries with her little food stamps or whatever. And that was it. You know, no, she never came back. You know. But what I was saying, you know, my family, my friends was like, girl, you crazy. You could have went to sleep and she could have robbed your whole house. And I told them, I said, you right. And you right about that. But guess what? My house was covered. You just not gonna come in my house and do anything you want and try to take out anything you want. Oh, this house is covered. You know, yeah, you could have tried to take something out, but guess what? God was gonna wake me up. You understand what I'm saying? God was gonna make my children wake me up. Somebody would have woke me up. You know, so it's like if you can help somebody, help them. They're gonna have some people is very nasty to you. But see, people like that, you have to pray for them. You know, you're gonna have to pray a little harder for them. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But in due time, you don't know what I'm going through. But you saying whatever you going through, you don't have to put it on me. And I understand that. You understand what I'm saying? But you can't just do people wrong and they trying to help you. You understand what I'm saying? So don't lose y'all blessings. Don't lose y'all blessing over nobody. If you wants to help somebody, help them. Don't do it because um you want everybody to know you helping that person. When you help that person, you help that person behind everybody back. You know, you don't need everybody to know you helping that person. And when you help that person, you don't have to tell everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, y'all. It's crazy because some people help people just to say, oh, I help her. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. You know what they're doing. Mm-mm. You know. But you could do like I did. You know, if you want to help somebody and you don't have nowhere to stay, you know, and if that's what you want to do, you know, before you before you do it, you know, pray. And if God give you a sign, it's okay. That means it's gonna be okay. If God send you a sign saying, mm-mm, that person is not good to be in your house while your eyes is closed. You know what I'm saying? See, me and God have a um a strong bond. You know, when I talk to God and when I pray to God, oh yeah, baby, me and God be in there like laughing and talking, crying, whatever. You know, but God, you know, always there for me. Okay? So I'm gonna leave y'all with this. I'm keeping powder on my face. I'm gonna leave y'all with this. Continue helping people. They're gonna have some people be very nasty and mean to you. You know what I'm saying? But help them anyway. God gonna bless you. Now if they nasty, you know, to the T, you know, if they cussing you all out and are being real disrespectful and rude, okay, pass that person up. God gonna understand. You know, I'm not helping you and you being disrespectful to me and you doing all this and extra and you honestly think I'm gonna help you. Okay, once out, I say, you know what, don't worry about it. And I go, oh, believe me, when they settle down, I know they're saying to themselves, oh, I'm crazy. You know, I shouldn't even do all that. She would have gave me the money and we could have did this, I could have done that. You know, we could have ate good, you know, because I was gonna help her. I was gonna help her, you know, her and her 4 children. I was gonna help her, you know, but hey, it is what it is, you know. Some people just nasty and rude, you know. They just gonna lose they blessing. That's what that is. They just gonna lose they blessing. You know what I'm saying? God gonna still bless you. You know? But if people being mean, you know, really mean and nasty to you, okay, just pray for them and pass them by. They just lost their blessing because they never know what was you was gonna do for them and to them. They would never know because they messed it up. Y'all don't understand what I'm saying? So, you know how people, when they need it, like I said, if they, really rude and wrong and nasty, just pass them up. Now, the other people, you know what I'm saying? Like I told you, that lady by Walmart, and I help a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? And I don't just sit on and say, I helped this one, I helped that one. Nobody know. Let me tell y'all, they had a man, I don't see him anymore. And he had a sign with a smiley face. And he said, I just want to smile. He was homeless. And he used to just walk, in between the cars and he used to say, I just want to smile. You know what I'm saying? And people just used to be throwing him money, because I used to give him money. People, they're at the red light, they bump their home, bump, bump, give them this and give them that. You know what I'm saying? People, they can sense people who really need help. Because they got a lot of people who is, is an alcoholic, a person who is a drug addict, and they would do that just to earn money to buy liquor, all kinds of, drugs, pills and, crack cocaine, I don't even know how to say it, crack cocaine, you know what I'm saying, and this drug and pills or whatever, it's like, hey, I'm not giving you. Now let me tell you, what I'm not gonna do is give my money to somebody who is on drugs and who is an alcoholic. That's what I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna help you. I'm not gonna help you. You know, uh, uh, buy these drugs you want. You know what I'm saying? So, God gonna bless y'all. You know what I'm saying? God gonna bless y'all. Keep praying, keep believing, keep having faith and patience. Pray. And once you pray, leave it with God. I'm not going to say we ain't going to be thinking about it. Because, yeah, you're going to be thinking about it. And then you hear, well, I could do this. And I'll be like, you know what? I'm not doing it. I pray to God. I'm going to, I'm going to leave it with God. And that's that. Okay? Now, always remember, God loves you. God loves you. God is going to protect you. Just believe He will. Just believe He will, okay? But I want to say thank everybody who was on my stream. I hope everybody did subscribe and hit that bell. And the ones, I know did. And I just want to say thank you again. And welcome to my channel. Thank y'all, and y'all have a good night, morning, or afternoon.